Today, I'm in the southern Chinese metropolis of Guangzhou, a city of over 20 million people. Now, China has offered visa-free access to nationals from 54 nations worldwide, so coming here for travel has never been easier. Now, it just happens I have a really good friend, also from the UK, who has lived in the city for 7.5 years. And today he's going to join us for a walk along this beautiful riverfront. And now I'm going to introduce the man himself. So, hi Mike, it's great to see you.
Good morning, James.
Okay, yeah, so
Guangzhou.
kind of in a nutshell, what did you used to do in England and what finally brought you here to settle in Guangzhou?
Sure. Well, I've been a ballroom dancer, ballroom and Latin dancer since the age of 7, and managed to make that my career as a teacher. And I was invited when I was quite young, 26, 27. Just got married, and a studio owner in Hong Kong wanted me to come and work in Hong Kong. So I did that for a good 16, 17 years. Still go back occasionally. And from there, I got connections to Shenzhen. And that's where I met my wife, in Shenzhen. And so she is also a dancer, and cut a long story short, she actually was from Guangzhou, but was commuting between Shenzhen and Guangzhou. And then, we got together, and it was a case of, okay, do we go and live in England, or do we live in Hong Kong, which I was a permanent resident, I could live in Hong Kong, or do we live in China? And I don't know what it was. I never really felt relaxed in Hong Kong, but I felt very relaxed in Guangzhou. I never felt relaxed in Shenzhen. And I didn't understand why. And I think what it is the people in Guangzhou, every time we went to a restaurant or dinner, they want to speak to you. They want to say hello. They want to have a drink with you. It was always very warm. And I wasn't expecting it. We were always taught in the West, Chinese communism, everyone's very cold and, won't talk to you, and you're Western, And it was quite absolutely opposite. And Guangzhou is clean. The underground is all in English as well as Cantonese and Portuguese. I drive around, the road signs have got pinyin, which is like English characters for the names of streets, which is easy for me to read. I was like, well, I first thought it would be impossible for me to live in China and Guangzhou. And my wife automatically assumed we would go and live in England. She thought she'd have to get used to Western food. And I love Chinese food. And Guangzhou's famous for being so many varieties of different foods. So yeah, it just happened naturally. We didn't force it. And then we decided to set a business up here, because I was still traveling Hong Kong and Shenzhen and Philippines and lots of places. Yeah, that's what we did 5 years ago. And obviously this last few years have been a little bit tough with everything that's been going on. But, we've managed to sort of get through the tough parts. And I just love living in Guangzhou. This is my little piece of Guangzhou. So before competitions, we always get the professional makeup artists here to sort of do the kids' hair and makeup before a competition. When new kids join, they get a nice lemonade, a hot rock. So, and when you do judging, we get a plaque to say, so that the plaque's at the back of when we've been judging. This is sprung maple, imported from Russia. It's got a 30-year warranty. And they use this for like the national Chinese basketball courts.
Yeah, you actually, because this kind of has a bit of flexibility to it, so it's good for your joints and all that.
Exactly. My joints are not young anymore, so this was insurance as much as anything, so I could dance for longer. And here, that we can pull across and make it into two.
So that's two sessions going up.
Yeah,
and so on.
which is useful for like the kids at the weekends. We can then have.
So, do you think, for the average Westerner who's never really come to Asia, let alone China, I mean, would you say this is like an easy place to come and visit as a tourist, or even like consider living on a longer term basis?
Sure. I mean, what I always say to my family, there's a lot of history with China that's happened, and that history gets stuck in people's conceptions of what a country is like, but like many countries, it is always changing, and especially Guangzhou, like you say, it's got the exhibition center, and it's the biggest in Asia, and they're expanding it. So obviously the last couple of years that went very quiet, the conventions and all the rest of it. But when that happens, then there is a lot of international influx of business people coming in, trading and this sort of thing, getting around. Yes, the taxi driver's not going to speak English, so this sort of thing. But then today's technology, you have translators. Even your phone can translate. So when I first come, I didn't speak a word of Chinese, and I now speak 2 words of Chinese. I'm not like you, fluent. I can speak enough to get by, but to begin with, I literally would use a translator, and I just show the taxi driver, and he's like, okay, and they're friendly. It's like, oh, okay. That they want to help you. Obviously, Hong Kong is much easier because that is English speaking. But Hong Kong isn't China, not yet. It's changing. But if you really want to experience, Chinese life, then the major cities like Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Chongqing also. So all the major cities are the same. They've got facilities for tourists, and I think people, if they are interested, then don't be so frightened. Don't listen to the old prejudices.
A lot of people might have the impression, it's like a communist country. It's so strict, you can't, say what you want to say, if you go out, you're going to be surveilled and all that. There are people watching you all the time. But in reality, I mean, what is everyday life like for you? I mean, do you find, you can do everything that you want to do here?
Yes, pretty much. I mean, yes, you have to use common sense. You don't go around protesting against the CCP, Yes, that won't go down too well. Yes, you might find the local police have taken you for a question, so you use common sense. But, you wouldn't do that in any other country. You want there to go and enjoy the country, the food, the views, the experiences of what that country has to offer. To restrictions, very few. Things like accessing things on the internet, there's ways of getting past that if you need to.
In an ideal world, are there any aspects of life in Guangzhou that you wish was different at all?
What I wish, and this comes down to education. So we're walking along this walkway, and you can see all these electric bikes going past us. And there is a cycle path, but really that was designed for bicycles. Yes, not these fast electric bikes. And there's, parents with young children, and you know as well as I do, you can be holding your daughter's hand 1 minute and she can just suddenly, see something and run across and right in front of one of these bikes that's flying past us. And also, unfortunately, like as well, driving in Chongqing, the drivers are very me. No one gives way, to the point where you can travel 10 minutes down the road and you will see a bumper to bumper, siding, where 2 have not given way. And they just hit each other. I think I came to studio one day, 15 minutes, and I saw 4 of those accidents. In 15 minutes drive, 4. And it's where people are just, not giving way. Where in England, we wave people on. You go first and I go first, I'll go next, and both of us will get somewhere quicker.
But for the most part, though, I've had a great relationship with the local people all across China and in Chongqing. Over 20 years, I've never been like a victim of crime. Maybe the odd, like little petty scam here and there when I was buying football tickets or something like that. But nothing serious has ever happened.
No, you don't hear or see muggings in the street or shops being broken into. I mean, these shops don't have like security or anything like that. They're just quite open front until at night time they just shutter it down. So yeah, I mean that's another good point about living in China. My wife can walk down this late at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, if she wants to go to a restaurant or on her own. And she's totally safe. Now, you can't do that in England.
Just on the first night here in Guangzhou, maybe we finished, let's say, our business meetings about 2 a.m. Yeah, and I walked back to the hotel. I mean, I just kind of wanted some fresh air. And, I must have looked, of course, I'm a foreigner here in Guangzhou. And I must have looked a real tourist because I was like kind of following my Baidu map to the hotel. Yes, I mean, I suppose I could have been like an easy picking in some of these Western capitals.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, I walked through these dark streets, over the bridges and all that, and not a single problem at all.
No, that is a major plus point.
Of course, we both have 2 children here in China, right? I mean, how about children's education? How have you found that in China?
Interesting.
Give me a nutshell, if possible.
Very different to the West. The pressure on children education, they really drive hard. Is that right? Is it wrong? It's not what I think I would like my children to grow up learning, that sort of pressure. So we've actually taken Richard out of the mainstream school and moved into Chongqing. So funny. There was a professional dance school there in Chongqing, what we think is the best in China. And it was so convenient you being there,
So we're always on hand there.
Yeah.
It's a similar situation with my elder daughter as well. I mean, we don't want her to have the full pressure that maybe other junior and high school students have. But it just happens she has a very strong passion for art, kind of like Richard does for dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we found her like a junior school for the final year and also the high school there. And they kind of have a class which is put aside especially for art students. So they still study the traditional subjects and all that, but I don't feel they're under the same pressure to get those really high schools.
That's right. That's right. What I've seen in the last year, actually, is that the Chinese government have seen that there is this problem that has been created over the last 10, 20 years, putting the pressure on children with the highest exams, etc., etc. The problem they've got now, even though the Chinese government, I think, are trying to get people to go more into the arts and dance and other areas, the parents are still set in the old ways. And we see that, with the parents in our, they keep trying to put their children in the best school. They got to go to the best school, and they then make them go to extra classes. And it's like these children, they do, they come for a dance class, and it's like, okay, now I've got to go and do maths, and now I've got to then go do English. And I said, it's a Sunday. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and they don't have no free time. And like I say, even though I think the Chinese government are really pushing in areas to change this, it's going to take maybe a generation, because the parents seem to still have this concept that, oh, no, that type of education, like arts or something like that, is not secure. My children won't get, a good career.
I don't know about you, but I was getting a bit hot and sweaty walking along that riverfront. But I do admire that about Guangzhou, especially in the winter. When Chongqing gets some cold and dreary, I would love to spend maybe part of the year down here or in Hainan or something like that. But anyway, we started off at this lovely dim sum restaurant that Mike has recommended for us.
Yeah.
And we started out with a nice cup of tea.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of people, when they hear about Guangzhou, we compared the riverfronts to the Thames in London. But of course, if you lived in London, the cost of living would be insane, wouldn't it? But if you come to live in Guangzhou, population over 20 million, maybe 3 times out of London.
Yes.
But in your experience over the past 7.5 years, is it an expensive place to come and stay?
No, not at all. Hotels, very nice hotels, 4-star hotels, equivalent. So 400 renminbi, about £40 for a twin room. Huge room. China doesn't do small rooms. And that's it. That was in Shenzhen, heart Shenzhen, yesterday. Renting apartment. We live in a nice 140 square meter, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment with garden in a beautiful complex, and the rent is £1,000 a month. And we're right by the river as well. Beautiful. To get that in London, I couldn't even dream the cost of it. Yes, we sort of worked out how the kettle worked.
It took a bit of trial and error. Well, if you come to Guangzhou, say, as an English teacher or something, I mean, have you heard what the going rates for people in that industry is?
Well, our friend before, Nigel, I believe was getting about 16,000 basic renminbi, so it's 1,600. He got accommodation included in that. So he used to just save money. He said you can't spend the money that he was earning. So cost of living, it's a huge plus side of living in China.
Yeah, yesterday I was going out and about in Guangzhou, and for the hotel I took the subway for about an hour down to Xiaomian Island, and I probably spent about 7 yuan for the whole trip. Yeah, so getting around is very convenient and very inexpensive. Yes. And what about other things here, kind of like utilities, getting taxis?
Yeah, the taxis, start off price. As soon as you get in the taxis, I think £1.50. And then you seem to go pretty much where you want to go, still for that £1.50, not expensive at all. Buses, fixed price of 20p. You get on one end to the other end, it's still 20p. Giving English prices, 2 renminbi. Food, you can see this restaurant's quite busy. Why? Because it's inexpensive. The 3 of us, I'd be surprised, we're going to have quite a lot of food. I'd be surprised if it comes to about, 150, maybe 200 if we splash out, for 3. That's renminbi, so £15, and this is in a huge city like Guangzhou.
Like as I was saying, China has opened up visa-free access to the country to nationals from 54 countries. And hopefully through our talk today, you have learned that China is actually a very open, friendly, modern, safe country to come
very
visit.
safe. Very safe, very clean.
So I said Mike has been in China for about 7.5 years. I came to China about 21 years ago. Never been a victim of crime, always had a really great time. So if you're interested in coming to China, this place, Guangzhou, Chongqing, the whole country should definitely be right up there near the top of your list. Okay, so from me and Mike here in Guangzhou, thank you for watching, and I will catch you later, and we're going to try and find a taxi or a bus back.
I think so, yes.
Catch you later.
Bye for now. Bye-bye.